Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 10월 16일 수요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. Now, food is always a great way to connect people or know about a culture, and food can also give a glimpse of how things were done in the past. 청취자 여러분, appetizer 하면은 무엇이 떠오르시나요? 와인 또는 칵테일, 아니면 샐러드, 호두파이? 이렇게 appetizer는 서양 요리에서 식전에 마시는 간단한 음료, 술 또는 음식물을 말하는데요. 조선시대 우리 전통 한식에도 appetizer가 있었다고 합니다. 최근 발견된 1880년대 어느 미국 외교관의 문서에 따르면 당시 한식도 appetizer격인 예비 상차림과 본 상차림으로 구별해서 음식을 제공했다고 하는데요. 예비 상차림에는 과일류와 계란, 떡, 그리고 면류 등 전통주와 함께 먹을 수 있는 간단한 안주거리가 제공됐고요. 본 상차림에는 밥과 국, 김치류, 고기류, 전과 탕 등이 제공됐다고 하네요. 그렇다면 청취자 여러분, 여러분이 즐기시는 우리 전통 한식 스타일의 appetizer에는 어떤 것이 있나요? Let us know what your favorite type of Korean appetizer is. And with that in mind, I'm going to give you our first quiz question of the day. What would be an appropriate appetizer out of these three answer choices? 1번, a whole cabbage. 2번, a chocolate bar. 3번, canapé. 이 세 가지 중에서 appetizer에 적합한 것을 골라주시면 되겠습니다. cabbage가 1번이고요. 2번은 chocolate, 그리고 3번 canapé. 네, 좀 fancy한 단어를 골라주시면 될 것 같습니다. 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있을게요. 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 쿨링 스포츠 젤 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Okay, then let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
The two Koreas played a World Cup qualifier on Tuesday, their first football match in Pyongyang in 29 years, with neither side scoring a goal.
29년 만에 평양 원정에 나선 한국 축구 대표팀이 북한과의 카타르 월드컵 아시아 2차 예선 3차전에서 0대0 무승부를 거뒀습니다.
Japanese Minister of Environment Shinjiro Koizumi has stated that bags containing radioactive material swept away by the recent typhoon won't pose any threat to the environment.
고이즈미 신지로 일본 환경상이 태풍에 유실된 방사성 폐기물과 관련해 환경에 영향이 없다고 주장했습니다.
Amid intensifying clashes between Kurdish and Turkish forces, the number of refugees has been estimated to reach 250,000.
터키군과 쿠르드 시리아군의 충돌이 격화하는 가운데 민간인 25만 명이 피난길에 오른 것으로 추산됐습니다.
London has banned the global environmental movement Extinction Rebellion from staging protests in the city.
런던 경찰청이 기후변화 방지 운동단체 멸종 저항의 런던 내 시위를 전면 금지하기로 했습니다.
Iran has witnessed its first flight captained by a female pilot.
이란에서 처음으로 여성 기장이 탄생했습니다. And for the headlines and more on this chilly morning is Steve Hatherley. Good morning, Steve.
Why are you talking about food at 8 a.m.? Don't make me hungry already. I'm not a big breakfast person, to be honest. coffee is more of a thing, and maybe a protein shake.
Yeah.
But I don't really, when I wake up first thing in the morning, the last thing I think about is sitting down to a big meal, you know? I think, too, because the weather's colder in the morning, which means the house is cold in the morning.
True.
It's dark outside. It's just not the right environment, yeah?
Exactly. But then every once in a while, it's nice to have a big fancy meal. And if you do, you might have an appetizer. And appetizers can come in all shapes and forms.
I went out to a French restaurant over the weekend because I was craving French onion soup.
Oh, okay.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Is that the appetizer you get for the meal?
You can get a number of appetizers, but yeah, the French onion soup is an appetizer on its own. It was so
Sounds
good.
so good. I would love a nice warm onion soup.
It was so good. We ordered 3 bowls of it.
Between how many people?
4.
Oh, okay.
Throughout the course of the meal, I mean, we just ordered it
again.
And then we thought, that was really good. Should we get one last one? Yeah. But do you want a good appetizer that you can make at home quite easily?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know scallops, right? Karibi, is that right? Is that how you
I think
say it?
so, yeah.
So scallops, you fry them in a pan with some lemon and some butter and salt and pepper, just a little bit on each side. And then you do some bacon in a separate pan. And then what you do is you take the bacon, don't cook the bacon fully, right? You wrap the bacon around the scallop and
관자에다 이제 베이컨을 두르고요.
you use a toothpick and you put it through so the bacon doesn't fall off. And then you put it in the oven for, I don't know, keep an eye on it. Bacon wrapped scallops with lemon and butter. Really good.
레몬과 버터로 양념한 관자 베이컨 말이. 야, 되게 맛있는 appetizer일 것 같아요.
Oh no, I asked you not to talk about food and now I'm talking about food, aren't I?
Yes. Well, the appetizer that we mentioned in the opening today was about traditional Korean appetizers because apparently back in the day they had like the main meal and an appetizer in Korea as well. Whereas, we used to think this is a very Western thing.
Yeah, right. And actually, that's surprising to me because as far as I know, Korean food, you have all of your banchan, your side dishes, and then you have your main. But we don't really have here in Korea the separate side dish. So I wonder when that was, and I wonder when it stopped becoming a thing in Korean food culture.
Well, this apparently says it was in the 1800s that an American diplomat to Korea wrote about the appetizers here. But I'm guessing this was more for dignitaries and, royal families, not for the average Korean, because this would be quite cumbersome. But nonetheless, what is your favorite appetizer? 여러분이 선호하시는 appetizer, 특히 한식 스타일 appetizer가 있으면은 알려주세요. All right. Well, if you'd like to listen to the headlines, you can do so by going to our website. 모닝스페셜 홈페이지에 들어오셔서 조금 전에 읽어드린 헤드라인 다시 무료로 들으실 수 있습니다. Let's go over the stories.
Yeah, headline number 1 this morning. The two Koreas played a World Cup qualifier on Tuesday. That's their first football match in Pyongyang in 29 years with neither side scoring a goal.
네, 29년 만에 평양 원정에 나선 한국 축구 대표팀이 북한과의 카타르 월드컵 아시아 2차 예선 3차전에서 0대0 무승부를 거뒀습니다.
This was the first match between the two countries on the North soil since a friendly match back in 1990. So it's been a really, really long time.
Yeah.
The game ended in a scoreless draw, so it was a tie. Nobody saw it here in South Korea, because it wasn't broadcast here.
Right.
Pyongyang, they were asking for $1.5 million from broadcasters here in Seoul to screen the match, but I guess they declined that offer.
Okay.
International media was also barred. So nobody saw this really outside of a few officials that attended the match. The previous expectations were that 40,000 North Koreans will be there to cheer on their team, but
I saw some pictures later on, and I don't think there were many people in the crowds. In fact, I can't see any.
No, exactly. Only a handful of officials watched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nobody was allowed to watch.
그래요?
They speculated that and this is speculation, I think, that they didn't want fans to watch the North Korean side lose to the South Korean side, because the South Korean side is ranked much higher according to FIFA rankings, right?
Okay. 일단은 생중계가 되지 않았었기 때문에 우리는 이제 이 북한과의 경기를 실시간으로 볼 수는 없었습니다만 나중에 이제 사진 찍힌 모습을 보니까 관중석에 사람이 없더라고요. 그래서 어떻게 된 것인가 하고 보니까 실제로 이제 거의 무관중이라고 해야 될까요? 이런 경기로 치러졌다라고 소식이 전해졌습니다. 다소 좀 한가한 면도 있었지만 어쨌든 이제 경기가 치러졌고 0대0 무승부였는데요. Where does that place South Korea after this 0-0 draw?
Well, the rankings previous to the match, 37th for South Korea, 113th for North Korea. But with the draw, this is more about the World Cup qualifier, right?
Yeah.
So now with that tie, the North and South each have 7 points in Group H of the Asian qualifying round. This is for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And their next match with the North is going to be in June of next year. And also in Group H, if you're interested, Lebanon, Turkmenistan, and Sri Lanka.
네, 그렇죠. H조에서 우리나라가 이제 1위를 유지를 하고 있습니다. 외신이 또 뭐 생중계는 하지 못했지만 이번 경기를 굉장히 관심 있게 지켜보고 보도를 했었는데요. BBC는 The World's Strangest Football Derby 이렇게 부르기도 했습니다. 가장 희한한 경기였다. 이렇게 보도를 했거든요.
Because there was no one there.
Exactly.
Yeah. DVD footage will be released to the South. The North has agreed to that, so I'm not sure how or when that will show up. But an official from the Unification Ministry said yesterday that the North promised to give some footage of the match.
네. 실시간 생중계는 안 됐었지만 나중에 이제 녹화된 DVD는 북한 측에서 제공을 한다라고 합니다. The next game, rather, as you said, is going to be held in June next year. All right, let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 2 this morning, Japanese Minister of Environment Shinjiro Koizumi has stated that bags containing radioactive material swept away by the recent typhoon won't pose any threat to the environment.
네, 고이즈미 신지로 일본 환경상이 태풍에 유실된 방사성 폐기물과 관련해 환경에 영향이 없다고 주장했습니다.
And if you're watching Boynan Radio, I added a word there, material swept away.
Swept away.
Yeah, I added one in the headline there.
Okay. So we're talking about the bags.
Yeah, these bags. And when we talked about the flooding in Japan because of Hagibis, I think you maybe mentioned on the show about this material that had been swept away in these bags. And opposition lawmakers in Japan, they were grilling the government on the handling of the storm for different reasons. But one was about this radioactive waste that was produced after the 2011 nuclear disaster, saying it was not properly protected. Now, these bags were washed away into a river in Fukushima, and the environment minister, Shinjiro Koizumi, he said that local officials found 10 bags that had been swept away by the storm.
10 out of how many?
10 out of, let me find that number, but it's over 2,000 in total. 2,667.
그렇습니다. 폐기물이 들어있었던 자루가 무려 2,600여 개가 있었는데요. 그 자루 중에 10개가 수거가 됐다. 나머지는 이제 몇 개가 유실이 됐는지는 모르겠지만 많은 양이 유실이 됐다라고 일본에서 보도가 됐습니다. 이 자루 안에는 그냥 폐기물이 아니라 오염된 후쿠시마 원전 사고로 인해서 오염된 폐기물이 있다고 합니다. And if that ends up in the ocean, you know, that could be very harmful for neighboring countries. But Japan, and in this case, of course, the environment minister is saying it's not going to pose any sort of threat to the environment.
That's right. But there's been criticism over the storage of these bags, too. These were kept, and there was a lot of them, 2,667.
Yeah.
They were stored temporarily at a site. I don't know what that means about whether they were on their way to another location. Also, they were not covered by any sheets, apparently, to protect against the winds and rains of the typhoon. The bags themselves contain greenery. They call it greenery, so I'm assuming that means plants and grass and
soil,
flora.
leaves, plants. 그렇죠. 그 근처에 그 후쿠시마 원전 근처에 있었던 뭐 토양이라든지 잎사귀, 식물 등등 이제 오염된 물질을 전부 다 이렇게 2,000여 개의 자루 안에다가 보관을 하고 있었는데요. 이게 이번에 홍수로 인해서 유실이 됐고 그중에서 10개만 수거를 했는데 고이즈미 그 주니치로 전 총리의 아들이죠. 이번에 고이즈미 신지로 환경상이 이렇게 환경에 아무 문제가 없을 것이다라고 얘기를 해서 또다시 논란이 되고 있는데 This is the same guy who said that environmental movements need to be sexy.
Sexy and cool,
And
right?
sexy and cool. So he is under a lot of pressure from not only world leaders, but people within his own country.
I'll tell you what's not sexy and cool. Losing nuclear bags that weren't stored properly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave. Yeah.
Sorry, one last point. The bags that were collected, they were not damaged. So
okay.
that's good
That
news.
is good news.
Yeah.
아, 그렇군요. 그 수거된 10개의 자루는 다행히 여전히 잘 동봉된 상태였다고는 합니다. Okay, let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 3 this morning. Amid intensifying clashes between Kurdish and Turkish forces, the number of refugees has been estimated to reach 250,000.
터키군과 쿠르드, 시리아군의 충돌이 격화하는 가운데 민간인 25만 명이 피난길에 오른 것으로 추산됐습니다.
Right, so that number that I just mentioned is according to the UN. 250,000 people have become refugees as a part of this operation, or as a result, I should say, of this operation. And again, I'll go over the point that Turkey has promised to carve out this safe zone along the border. It's 30 kilometers or 20 miles into Syria. So it's very far inside of Syria. And it plans to resettle 3.5 million Syrian refugees that they are currently hosting. But the irony is that this military offensive into Syria, which is planned to help people resettle, is displacing all of these people.
It's creating more refugees.
Forcing these people to quickly pack their bags and rush for their own safety. It's creating horrific traffic jams and people are running for their lives, right?
네, 그렇습니다. 터키와 시리아가 이제 바로 위아래에 있는 국가죠. 근데 터키에 지금 굉장히 많은 쿠르드 난민들이 살고 있는데 이 난민들을 시리아로 다시 보내기 위해서 쿠르드족이 지금 차지하고 있는 시리아 북부 지역을 지금 침공하고 있는 터키입니다. 터키는 이로 인해서 평화의 지역을 만들겠다라는 명목을 가지고 있습니다. 그러면서 터키에서 지금 거주하고 있는 난민들을 돌려보내기 위함이다라고 얘기를 하지만 이렇게 침공을 하면서 현재 쿠르드족들 중에 또 새로 난민들이 25만 명이나 생겼다는 소식이고요. 그 중에 한 7만 명은 어린이라고 합니다. They say out of the 250,000, about 70,000 are children.
And the Norwegian Refugee Council, they estimate that some 450,000 people live within 5 kilometers of the border. So that is in that, if you could call it a hot zone. There are so many people living there. The United States, if you are interested to know, has responded in a sanction kind of way. They took action against Turkey's defense and energy ministries, as well as the ministers of defense, energy, and interior. That, according to the U.S. Treasury. That move, what that does is it freezes the minister's assets in the United States, and it also bans transactions with them that involve the U.S. financial system. Also, extra tariffs on Turkey's steel exports going up 50%. But
so are all of these measures likely to stop Turkey from moving into Syria and the Kurds?
They say that these sanctions are kind of a slap on the wrist. They are light sanctions because, 50% increase on steel, Turkish steel, sounds grand, but it's only 5% of Turkey's steel that is exported to the United States. So will that hurt or not? There are plenty of critics for this move.
네, 미국에서는 이제 쿠르드족과 오랜 세월 동안 사실 이렇게 함께 IS를 물리치기 위해서 일을 해왔는데 갑자기 며칠 전에 트럼프 대통령이 미군 철수하겠다라고 발표를 했죠. 그러고 나서 이제 터키가 지금 공격을 하고 있는 모습인데 어제였나요? 그제였나요? 트럼프 대통령이 미군은 철수를 했지만 터키에 경제 제재를 가하겠다라고 발표를 했습니다. 그런데 전문가들은 이건 굉장히 약한 처벌이다 이렇게 보고 있네요. Okay, let's leave that there and go on to the next headline.
Headline number 4 this morning. London has banned the global environmental movement Extinction Rebellion from staging protests in the city.
런던 경찰청이 기후변화 방지 운동 단체인 멸종 저항의 런던 내 시위를 전면 금지하기로 했습니다.
We learned about Extinction Rebellion last week on the show, and now the new news is there's a crackdown in London from the Metropolitan Police. They issued a revised Section 14 order on Monday night, and what that states is that any assembly linked to the Extinction Rebellion, also known as Autumn Uprising, must now cease their protests within London. So this is a cease and desist order, making it illegal for them to protest.
네. 그래서 이제 처음으로 멸종 저항의 시위를 전면 금지한다라는 발표가 나온 겁니다. This is the first ban of its kind, right?
And there are critics for this as well. First, let's go over what this Section 14 actually is. So, police have the power to ban a protest under the Public Order Act from 1986. If a senior officer has reasonable belief that it may cause serious disruption to the life of the community. But the BBC's Home Affairs correspondent said that the test, if and when it gets to human rights court battle, and it may actually do that, is whether the police action was proportionate to the threat and only was it strictly necessary. So is this allowed, this ban on protesting? The mayor of London has said that peaceful protest should always be allowed.
그렇죠. 런던에서 시위하는 것 자체가 금지되는 것은 아닌데요. 사전에 충분히 허가를 받아야 된다라는 법이 있다고 합니다. 이런 법에 위반되는 것이 지금 현재 Extinction Rebellion의 시위라는 게 영국 경찰의 입장이네요. Okay, let's go on to our final headline.
Yeah, this is nice news. Iran has witnessed its first flight captained by a female pilot.
네, 이란에서 처음으로 여성 기장이 탄생했습니다.
Her name is Nishat Jahandari, and she recently received her 4 stripes after her first independent flight. She becomes the second woman airline pilot, in Iran. The flight itself took 160 passengers from Tehran to Mashhad and brought almost the same number of people back to Tehran. So it was a 갔다 왔다 trip for them.
갔다 왔다 트리프였군요. 네, 이렇게 최근에 처음으로 여성 기장으로서 왕복 비행을 했다라는 소식이 현지 언론을 통해서 전해졌고요. 지금은 29세인데 이제 17세부터 기장이 되기 위해서 학교에서 공부를 했는데 그 당시에도 굉장히 파격적인 인물이었다고 합니다. Back when she was 17 and she got into university, apparently she was the only girl there. And all the boys at the school said, why are you here? We're training to be pilots,
Right.
which is a guy's job. You know, you do know which school you came into. And they were all, sort of saying, are you in the wrong school?
She knew exactly what school she was going to.
Yeah.
She's quite young too. She's 29 years old, and for the past 4 years, she's been working as a co-pilot for an airline called Zagros Airlines. She's flown for 3,000 hours, so she's fulfilled that obligation. And 3.5 years later, after working in the field of flight safety and the review of flight data monitoring, the company needed a pilot, and she passed the test.
Exactly.
And her dream has been achieved. Only 12 years after she started in school back at the age of 17.
네, 그렇습니다. 또 재밌는 팩트들이 여러 개 있는데요. 이번에 이렇게 여성 기장으로서 왕복 비행을 했을 때 옆에 있었던 co-pilot도 여성이었고요. 그 다음에 남편도 파일럿이라고 합니다. Her husband is also a pilot, so she's surrounded by pilots, really.
It's a flying family. Did you ever have aspirations of becoming a pilot?
No, because I had very bad eyesight from early on, so had to give that one up
I see.
quite soon. All right, well, those were our headlines for this morning. Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Quiz question today. What would be an appropriate appetizer? Would it be number 1, a whole cabbage, number 2, a chocolate bar, or number 3, a canapé? How did you pronounce that before?
I said canapé, but
Canapé,
I don't
canapé.
know, because I normally just eat the little finger food type things you see on trays. I never, talk about it.
I will eat a canapé now.
Yeah, I just, 보통 이제 트레이에 이게 작은 과자 위에 얹혀진 치즈나 참치나 이런 것들을 카나페라고 부르는데 카나페에 대해서 얘기할 일은 없어요, 저는. 그래가지고 저도 사실 좀 생소한 단어이긴 합니다.
Let's go with canapé. The first ones, though, we do know the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Is it number 1, a whole cabbage, number 2, a chocolate bar, or number 3, a canapé?
All right. So let us know what you think the answer is. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 쿨링 스포츠 젤 보내드릴게요. 노래 듣고 와서 뉴스 포커스 보겠습니다. This is Smokey. What can I do? What can I do?
No, it wasn't just what. It was
What? If you've just joined us, good morning. This is Morning Special. It's 8:28. Let's look at your messages. 김보정 님이요. 조선시대 appetizer가 있었네요. 차리시느라 어머님들 정말 많이 고생하셨을 것 같아요. 전통적인 appetizer로는 죽이 생각납니다. 호박죽 하셨어요. Yeah, that's a great appetizer.
Especially when you're not feeling great. Juke is the best,
It
right?
is the best.
Yeah.
이아름님은요, 따끈한 단팥죽 아니면은 바람떡, 팥 들어가 있어요. 너무 맛있어요. 라고 보내주셨습니다. So you can have the sweet 팥죽 or the non-sweet 팥죽.
Okay.
But both are quite good. I quite like the sweet version, although I don't have a sweet tooth. And then 바람떡 apparently has red beans in it. So anything with red beans is a nice.
Okay.
But would it be a good appetizer though? Because I feel like that would be more
Sounds
of a
more
dessert.
desserty, doesn't it? Yeah. But that's because we're used to it coming with 팥빙수, right?
그럴 수도 있어요. 근데 보통 서양에서 appetizer는 단 음식이 나오지 않아요. 왜냐면은 단 거를 먼저 먹으면 본식을 즐기지 못한다고 하거든요. 그래서 약간 구미를 땡길 정도의 음식, 그게 appetizer입니다. 최봉림 님이요. 부여에서 먹었던 동치미 그리고 말린 묵 최고였어요. 쓱 배고파 하셨습니다. 동치미, yeah, that's a great non-spicy kimchi that you can enjoy in the winter.
Which one?
동치미.
Oh, what's that?
So you have the cold, clear, not broth, but it's like kimchi in sauce, but it's like white. No pepper, no chili.
Oh, the white kimchi.
The white, but it has to have some sort of liquid in it.
Yeah, it looks like water though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or vinegar.
exactly.
Yeah, I like that
동치미.
one.
Yeah, me too. 정지훈 님이요. 저는 호박죽이랑 파전 너무 좋아요. 쌤 얘기를 들으니까 양파 수프도 먹어보고 싶어요. Yeah. This person wants to try the onion soup you mentioned.
Yeah, please do. Oh, does that kimchi you just mentioned come with bosam sometimes?
보쌈이랑 같이 먹을 수도 있죠. I don't think they come together per se, but you could definitely. Because a lot of people do have 동치미 in the winter, and 보쌈 is also great in the winter, so
right.
they go hand in hand.
Bosam's good all the time.
That's true.
Yeah.
그리고 김정주 님이요. 제가 좋아하는 한국형 appetizer는 살살 얼은 홍시예요. This would be persimmon, the frozen kind. So inside it's nice and soft, but on the outside it's slightly hard, but it's delicious.
Yeah,
really,
right.
really sweet. Again, I think these would be great appetizers, but also desserts as well.
I think anything would be a great appetizer right at this very moment.
아침부터 먹는 얘기하니까 조금 힘듭니다. Keep sending in your messages and greetings, and maybe someone can get us some food while we're on the show today. We have 5 cooling sports gels for you to give out in the first hour. 자, 그러면은 뉴스 포커스 보겠습니다. 첫 번째입니다. 영국의 권위 있는 문학상으로 꼽히는 부커상이 올해 이례적으로 2명에게 상을 수여했습니다. 부커상 심사위원회는 올해 수상자로 거장 마거렛 애트우드 그리고 버나딘 에버리스토를 선정했다고 밝혔습니다. Let's listen to the story.
Margaret Atwood and Bernardine Evaristo have been named the joint winners of the 2019 Booker Prize after the judges broke their rules by declaring a tie. Atwood's The Testaments, the Canadian writer's follow-up to The Handmaid's Tale, was recognized alongside Londoner Evaristo's novel Girl, Woman, Other. It is 19 years since Atwood won the Booker for The Blind Assassin and 33 years since she was nominated for The Handmaid's Tale. And as for Evaristo, Girl, Woman, Other is the 60-year-old's 8th novel. It gives a chapter each to the lives of 12 intertwining characters who are mostly black British women. Atwood, 79, is the oldest ever Booker winner, while Evaristo sets a precedent as she is the first black woman to win.
What was really interesting about this year's award was that not only did 2 people get the prizes, and of course they both are the first black woman and the oldest person, they have their own records, but the whole shortlist, as I understand it, had no white men on the list. And that's the first time they had a shortlist without any.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's things are changing. Anyhow, so Margaret Atwood and Bernardine Evaristo, they won the Booker Prize.
Mm-hmm.
And they were declared a tie.
Yeah, that's right. So to declare is to say, right? To announce. And tie is a word that I mentioned earlier on in the program when I was talking about the soccer match between South Korea and North Korea. It was a scoreless tie. A tie is when two things are even. There is no winner, there is no loser, there is a tie. In a soccer match, 0-0, nobody wins, nobody loses. Because it's the same score, it's a tie. When they were deciding who was going to win this Booker Prize for 2019, the judges said, oh, Evaristo's book is amazing, but Atwood's book is also amazing. Let's give it to both of them. They are equally good. It is a tie.
네, 동점을 기록했다라고 할 때 they were declared a tie라고 얘기를 할 수 있는데요. 여기서도 그 비슷한 용법으로 Judges broke their rules by declaring a tie. 동점을 발표했다. 근데 사실 이제 동점이라기보다는 두 명의 수상자가 나왔다는 것을 이렇게 재밌게 표현한 것입니다. 앞서서 이제 축구 경기에서도 0대0 동점이 나왔다라고 했을 때 헤드라인에서도 이 tie라는 표현을 썼었는데요. 보통 0대0은 nil-nil이라는 표현을 쓴다는 것까지 기억해 주시면 좋겠고요. Let's look at another expression.
Yeah, so this story from Evaristo, Girl, Woman, Other, has different chapters, and each chapter gives the story of the lives of 12 intertwining characters. So if the book gave 12 different stories of 12 different women who never met each other.
Right.
Those stories would not be intertwining. But woman number one and woman number two and woman number three, one day they meet together.
Yeah.
And the minute they meet together is the minute that their stories intertwine. If you think of a spider web, right?
Yep.
That's intertwined because everything crosses paths.
True. 그래서 intertwine 그러면은 뭔가 이제 뭐 뒤열 아니면 얽히고 설키다라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 여기서 12명의 캐릭터가 이 Girl, Woman, Other라는 책에서 등장을 하는데 각각의 삶이 별개가 아니고요. 다 서로서로 어느 정도 연관이 되어 있다. 얽히고 설킨 관계다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 참고로 이 부커상은 굉장히 유명한 그 문학상인데요. 보통 이제 그 해에 소설 그 새로운 소설을 쓴 작가 중에서 최고의 작가를 선정하는 그런 상입니다.
When you are knitting, right? If you knit a scarf for this winter.
When I am knitting,
when
you mean never.
When you are knitting, what you are doing is you are intertwining yarn.
맞아요.
Right?
뜨개질 할 때도 이제 intertwine이라는 표현을 쓰면서 실이 이렇게 얽힌다.
By the way, I was curious because I've heard that the television series The Handmaid's Tale, based on the Margaret Atwood book, is very good. So I started watching it last night. It's extremely dark.
I heard it's very scary.
Extremely dark.
Yeah.
Do not watch that with your children or at night alone with the lights out like I was doing.
그렇군요. 그래서 이 Margaret Atwood는 79세의 캐나다 작가고요. 그다음에 Bernardine Evaristo는 60세의 영국 작가입니다. Atwood actually became the oldest person to receive this award.
Yeah, that's right. And Evaristo, she set the precedent as the first black woman to win. Wonderful news there.
Yeah.
And to set a precedent is to set an example because it did not exist before.
네, 전례를 세우다. Set a precedent. 이 president랑 발음이 다릅니다. precedent라고 좀 강하게 해주셔야 돼요.
Although presidents can set precedent.
맞아요. 네, 대통령도 전례를 세울 수 있죠. Presidents can set precedents. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Margaret Atwood and Bernardine Evaristo have been named the joint winners of the 2019 Booker Prize after the judges broke their rules by declaring a tie. Atwood's The Testaments, the Canadian writer's follow-up to The Handmaid's Tale, was recognized alongside Londoner Evaristo's novel Girl, Woman, Other. It is 19 years since Atwood won the Booker for The Blind Assassin and 33 years since she was nominated for The Handmaid's Tale. And as for Evaristo, Girl, Woman, Other is the 60-year-old's eighth novel. It gives a chapter each to the lives of 12 intertwining characters who are mostly black British women. Atwood, 79, is the oldest ever Booker winner, while Evaristo sets a precedent as she is the first black woman to win.
자, 두 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 미국에서 10월의 두 번째 월요일은 크리스토퍼 콜럼버스의 아메리카 대륙 발견을 기념하는 국경일인 콜럼버스 데이인데요. 그런데 오히려 미국 곳곳의 콜럼버스 동상은 심하게 훼손되는 순환을 겪었다고 하네요. 어떻게 된 일인지 들어보겠습니다.
Two statues of Christopher Columbus were vandalized Monday, doused with red paint, as Columbus Day comes under increased scrutiny from those who criticize the Italian navigator's legacy. The Columbus statue in downtown Providence, Rhode Island, was defaced, while in San Francisco, a statue of Columbus in the city's Little Italy neighborhood was similarly vandalized. The dual defacements came as the movement to opt out of Columbus Day and instead commemorate Indigenous Peoples Day grows.
네, 크리스토퍼 콜럼버스가 아메리카 대륙을 발견해서 그동안에는 미국에서 굉장히 좋은 날로 기념이 됐었는데 이젠 더 이상 아닌 것 같습니다. 지금 보이는 라디오로 동상이 훼손된 모습을 하나 올려드렸어요. That's red paint sprayed over the statue. And what does it say? Stop celebrating genocide.
Right.
아하.
I think that showing this image on Poinen Radio is the perfect definition for vandalize. You can see what it is, right?
네.
It's when you destroy something or at least attempt to destroy it in some way,
Right.
in some shape or some form.
And it's normally some sort of public item or building that you're destroying, right?
Yeah, that's right. We talked about this term when we talked about the protesters in Hong Kong. They were vandalizing storefronts. They were spray painting anti-Beijing slogans on there. They were breaking ATM machines. That's all vandalism. And the people who do that are called vandals.
네. 그래서 공공기물 파손을 vandalism이라고 하고요. 그렇게 파손하는 것을 vandalize 한다라고 합니다. 이렇게 크리스토퍼 콜럼버스 동상이 훼손이 됐는데 genocide 그러면 뭐 대량 학살이죠. 대량 학살을 그만 기념해라라는 문구를 누가 이렇게 써놨네요. So, it comes under increased scrutiny.
Yeah, many people, they think Columbus Day should be done away with. They criticize Christopher Columbus's legacy, and Columbus Day is now heavily scrutinized or is faced with increased scrutiny. That is criticism, or when people think, I don't know if that's good or not.
Right.
That is the feeling of scrutiny. When you hear something or you see something and you say, I don't know if that's good. That's scrutiny.
아, 그래요. scrutiny라는 것은 이제 사전적인 정의를 보면은 감시받다, 감시라는 뜻이 있는데 보통은 이제 어떤 비난을 받고 그리고 감시받는 것을 말합니다. Columbus Day comes under scrutiny라고 했기 때문에 이제 굉장히 비난을 받기 시작했고 그래서 좀 면밀히 살펴보고 있다 이런 뜻이에요. 과연 이 날을 계속해서 미국 사람들이 기념을 해야 될 것인가 고민하고 있다고 하네요. And the statue was defaced.
Yeah, defaced, vandalized, kind of the same meaning here, right?
Yeah. 그렇죠. 뭐 얼굴이라는 단어 앞에 D가 붙어서 원래는 이제 얼굴이 훼손되다라는 직역을 하면 그렇게 되지만 사실 앞에 나와 있는 vandalize와 같은 의미, 훼손하다, 공공기물 파손의 의미로 이해를 하시면 되겠고요.
Yeah, deface is when you're ruining the surface of something. So the surface of the statue was kind of ruined. It was defaced.
그렇습니다. Okay, so that was our second news focus story. Let's listen to it one more time.
Two statues of Christopher Columbus were vandalized Monday, doused with red paint, as Columbus Day comes under increased scrutiny from those who criticize the Italian navigator's legacy. The Columbus statue in downtown Providence, Rhode Island, was defaced, while in San Francisco, a statue of Columbus in the city's Little Italy neighborhood was similarly vandalized. The dual defacements came as the movement to opt out of Columbus Day and instead commemorate Indigenous Peoples Day grows.
네, 참고로 이제 deface에서 진짜 뭐 사람의 얼굴을 말하는 건 아니고요. 어떤 표면이기 때문에 건물이나 이 경우 동상의 겉면이 훼손된다라는 의미의 deface입니다.
I thought of another good example. Currency. If you take some manwon, it's illegal, I assume, to write or draw on that because it's defacing the bill.
그렇죠. 뭐
Yeah.
지폐를 우리가 훼손할 때도 defacing 한다고 표현할 수 있습니다. All right, let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Quiz question this morning. What would be an appropriate appetizer? A whole cabbage. Number 2, a chocolate bar. Or number 3, a canapé.
네, 보통은 피타이저로 이게 달콤한 걸 먹지 않습니다. 그리고 그냥 통째로 뭐죠? 캐비지, 양배추? 좀 이상할 수도 있겠죠? 그렇다면 정답은 뭘까요? 굉장히 힌트 많이 드렸습니다.
Not if you're a rabbit.
Okay, alright. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원의 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 쿨링 스포츠 젤 총 5분께 보내드릴게요. We'll be right back after Twisted Sister sings We're Not Gonna Take It. 자, 다음 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. 인도네시아 자바섬 족자카르타의 무라피 화산이 지난 14일 분화해 화산재가 3km까지 치솟았습니다. 족자카르타는 우리나라의 경주 같은 관광 도시로 한국 관광객도 많이 찾는 곳이죠. Let's listen to the story.
Mount Merapi, an active volcano in Indonesia's Java Island, erupted on Monday afternoon, spewing a column of ash up to 3 kilometers high and forcing the authority to issue a warning for airplanes in a radius of 3 kilometers. The volcano, located on the border of central Java and Yogyakarta provinces, erupted at 4:31 p.m. Jakarta time with hot ash from the crater and the wind blew the ash towards the southwest. Mount Merapi is one of Indonesia's 129 active volcanoes and has habitually erupted since 1948.
Well, let's get right to this pretty much self-explanatory article. The mountain spewed ash.
Yeah, to spew means to spit out with force. And I'm not going to give you a very nice example.
Okay.
But it is the easiest example. I apologize in advance. But when we get sick, when we throw up, right, and it's very forceful,
Okay.
that's the example of spewing.
네,
And
뿜어져.
we even use that word to describe that. Yeah.
그래요.
Sorry, I know that's not very nice. Yeah.
Food, vomiting, lots of interesting topics we're talking about this morning.
Yeah.
자, 뿜어져 나온다라는 뜻의 spew가 여기서 쓰였는데요. 화산재가 이제 뿜어져 나왔다라고 해서 spewed ash가 나왔지만 뭐 예를 들자면은 비행기에서 뭐 이제 불길이 뿜어져 나왔다. 그러면 flames spewed out of an aircraft 할 수도 있고.
Or also, you see it in a movie sometimes, the fire hydrant, when they knock over the fire hydrant and the water is spewing out of the ground.
맞아요. 우리가 이제 뭐 그 화재 현장에 갔을 때 불을 끌 때도 그 fire hydrant 소화전에서 이제 뭔가가 spew해서 나온다, 뿜어져 나온다라고 표현을 할 수 있겠습니다.
Yeah.
Okay, and this actually the ashes. It affected about a radius of 3 kilometers.
Yeah, so it was a warning for the airplanes. So the volcano, think of the volcano as the middle, okay? And then think of any straight line out in any direction, 3 kilometers, that's how long, out in any direction, that's the radius. So the 3 kilometer radius around the volcano, that's where airplanes were warned not to go.
네, 그렇죠. radius는 반경이라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 뭐 지름은 보통 영어로 diameter라고 하는데 radius is of course half a diameter. 반경 3km까지도 이렇게 화산재가 치솟았다, 뿜어져 나왔다라는 소식이 되겠고요. And also we see the expression here habitually because this volcano has been doing this for quite some time.
It's almost like the volcano's habit, right? So if you do something habitually, then you do it out of habit. So for example, do you bite your fingernails, Sue?
Sometimes I do.
Yeah. Do you do it habitually?
I do it habitually.
So it means out of habit, and it also implies that you do it regularly as well, I think.
그래요. 그래서 이제 뭔가 습관적으로라는 뜻의 habitually가 여기서 쓰였는데 물론 화산이기 때문에 우리가 해석을 할 때는 그동안에도 반복적으로 이렇게 화산 분출이 있었다. 이렇게 이해를 하시면 되겠습니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Mount Merapi, an active volcano in Indonesia's Java Island, erupted on Monday afternoon, spewing a column of ash up to 3 kilometers high and forcing the authority to issue a warning for airplanes in a radius of 3 kilometers. The volcano, located on the border of central Java and Yogyakarta provinces, erupted at 4:31 p.m. Jakarta time with hot ash from the crater, and the wind blew the ash towards the southwest. Mount Merapi is one of Indonesia's 129 active volcanoes and has habitually erupted since 1948.
And I'm very hungry, so Steve, tell me what the answer to the quiz is.
The answer to the quiz this morning is Kanape, right? Number 3?
Yes, 3번이 정답입니다.
I mean, it could be number 1 or number 2, but people might think you were a little different, right?
그래요.
Yeah.
A whole cabbage would obviously not be fancy enough, I suppose, as an appetizer.
Chocolate bars for dessert.
Yes, exactly. So number 3 is the answer. 3번 정답이고요. 정현조님, 김지훈님, 강다현님, 박영상님, 그리고 안정은님 축하드립니다. 쿨링 스포츠 젤 보내드릴게요. Okay, well, Steve, what is your expression of the day?
My expression of the day today, it's from News Focus number 2, and we mentioned it, but we didn't get to talk about it. I mean, I mentioned it in the reading. It's to opt out. So in the context of the article, many people are looking to opt out of Columbus Day. To opt out means you choose not to take part. You choose not to participate. Think of option, opt. Right? So I'll give you an easy example. There is a 회식 this Friday night with our company, but I think I'm going to go home instead of going to the 회식. I think I'll opt out.
아, 그래요. 뭔가 참여하지 않기로 내가 결정을 한다라는 의미가 되겠습니다. I am going to opt out of today's 회식.
Yeah.
이렇게 얘기를 하면 되겠죠?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy to say actually in the Korean culture.
Yeah, right.
네, 그래서 오늘의 표현 opt out가 되겠습니다. Before you go, hello 귀티 님이요. 지방에 사는데 낮에 서울 번호로 부재 전화 온 걸 못 받아서 후회하며 다시 전화를 기다리고 있습니다. 아무래도 청취율 조사 전화 같은데 다시 오면 꼭 받아서 정확히 대답할게요. 라고 보내주셨어요. This person says they missed a call with O2 at the front of it, so obviously it was from Seoul. But this person lives in the countryside, and they're saying, "Oh, I regret not taking that call because maybe it was one of those calls about listenership. Which radio station do you listen to, and what be it? And in which case they would have said EBS Morning Special."
Well, call them back.
Do that. 네, 너무 감사합니다. Are you going to opt out of this studio? Can you even say that now?
I don't think that's a good sentence example.
Okay.
But I will see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve.
Bye-bye.
네, 2부에서는요, Say What 코너가 기다리고 있습니다. And we also have Travel with Alex. I'm going to move on to part 2 of the show now with Pat Benatar. This is Heartbreaker.